You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
The wheel is turning and you can't slow down. You can't let go and you can't hold on. You can't go back and you can't stand still. If the thunder don't get you, then the lightning will.
Hello and welcome to another installment of My Wheelhouse, quirky sports show discussing basketball topics of past, present, and future. We are joined by a very familiar panel. Joined again with me is my cousin Matt. Welcome back. How you doing?
It's good to be back.
I agree. And on my other side, Uncle Mike. How you doing?
Always good. Sorry.
I agree. All right, just some housekeeping to get out of the way before we start. We're social media present. We have all of our videos up to point on Facebook. We've been getting some comments. We've been getting some feeds. Upcoming episodes, we'll be doing more mailbag stuff. So if you have any questions that you want us to talk about, that'll be something that'll be available.
I refuse to watch them. I just don't want to see myself. I'm scared.
You look good. You're literally a fan favorite.
Yeah.
You're a fan favorite. Everyone thinks you're hilarious. And going forward, we also have a website that'll be going up. I'll be able to edit that into the credits after the show, so you'll be able to see that. I'm going to be able to keep everything up to date, and so you guys can follow us on more than just one media channel. Let's get into it. Today we're doing a season preview for the 2017-2018 NBA season. Obviously it's a little bit further away, but the dust has really settled with free agency. We really got what we need to know out of the summer league, and I think that we have enough just knowledge base to be able to predict things accurately enough, if you know what I mean. So do you have everything you want to talk about before we get to the wheel?
This might be the first preseason preview out there ever.
Ever, yeah, it could be.
Well,
We're ahead.
Before
We're ahead.
training camp.
Right. Yeah, who cares about training?
It's awesome.
That doesn't change anything.
It's awesome.
All right, wheel it. Let's wheel it.
All right, we're off.
We're off. We're moving. Oh, you almost got it right away. Rookie of the Year. All right, so after a very highly debated Rookie of the Year, where we talked about this, I think on our first show actually, where Brogdon won. Next year, I think that this is actually going to be one of the most highly competitive Rookie of the Years of all time. I think that this 2017 NBA draft has the potential to be the strongest lottery in terms of all-stars in history. There's several teams. I look back since the lottery system has begun, and there's only been 4 drafts that have had more than 5 all-star players in the lottery, and I think this draft has a chance to beat that.
I think what's cool is that you've got players that are going to play.
Right.
So you've got people coming in, and they're being given the keys to the car, so to speak. So you've got a bunch of them out there that are going to see lots of playing time, and that, I think, really gives you a different look at them.
That's going to skew it 100%.
A bunch of stuff, yeah.
You got any just outside perspectives before we get into our rankings?
I'm on board. Let's
You're
go.
on board. All right, so I have number 1 just because I'm faithful to my gut, and I just think he's going to be sensational. Probably not a very popular pick. I think Malik Monk is going to be Rookie of the Year. I just think he's a superstar scorer. I think he's just out of control. He has the same exact game as Jason Tatum, except it's 4 feet further away from the hoop. And I really just think that he is going to be dynamite next to Kemba Walker. They have a defensive scheme team now, and he's a perfect offensive offset to be able to balance that team and really succeed. I like Clifford to help him out in terms of just his defensive liabilities right now, but I really think that's where I'm going to go.
Shea, because I mean, he wasn't even on your list of 5 or 6 when we talked last time, and you've got all those guys that just performed in the summer league.
Yeah, he didn't play.
I mean, Donovan Mitchell, you brought him out. I mean, there's a guy that's going to get all the playing time in the world.
I think he'll be like 6th or 7th in the voting.
I thought Josh Jackson played really well.
I
and
didn't
then
think Josh
you
Jackson
haven't swung me completely over to Lonzo Ball, but that guy's the most high-profile thing to come into this league in a long time.
He's phenomenal.
We're talking 17,500 people come to see a come in with summer league,
phenomenal.
and they keep coming.
Yeah.
And I know one thing I really like about the Wheelhouse, we never hold anything against each other. This isn't about, hey, I told you so. I get a text from Shea, and it's about Lonzo Ball, and it's like, Mike, you got to watch Lonzo Ball. He's a beautiful player to watch.
So fun.
Much nicer
He's
than
so
saying,
fun.
I told you the guy was freaking
He's
good.
so fun to watch. He's
And
remarkable.
he is. And back to Shea, he reminds me of Ernie D.
Okay.
The way he finds the pass immediately on that full court and how compact his passing is. He never telegraphs a pass because it's all in here tight. And then he threads needles all over the place with his passes. I think he's your Rookie of the Year. Even though I know there's things the scouts are finding wrong. They say he doesn't take a shot while going to the right. That shot, I mean, talk about his father being a guiding light in his life. Why didn't he take care of that thing a long time ago, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, try when he gets into the short range, he has no chance of getting that thing offline in a short. 3, he can stand way
He actually
back.
had a couple step backs that he went to the right, and I was
Yeah.
actually surprised in his ability to get it off because I thought that was going to be a problem. But okay, so you got Lonzo Ball. Who you got?
I mean, it's a guard-oriented league, but I'm not going to put a lot of emphasis on the Summer League play Alonzo Ball. I mean, last year at this time, we had Seamus. We had 6 people on a group chain telling me how Chris Dunn was going to be on the All-Star team next year.
Not next year. I just said eventually.
Yeah,
I still stand by that.
It was a big bandwagon, and it was all because of a few preseason games. And we watched 3 seasons of Chris Dunn never make a shot outside of 18 feet here in Rhode Island. So I don't necessarily see the preseason translating or the Summer League translating as much.
17,500 people at a Summer League to come see this guy's on fire in terms of profile.
I really think that his skills are
Everybody's gonna be watching
translatable.
him.
I think his
Across
skills
the
are very
country, they're going to be on him. You know?
I hear you.
10 assists a game.
Okay,
I'm not even on him completely, but
You're saying 10 assists a game? That might be high.
I think so.
Well, you're picking the.
I mean, he's going to have the ball all the time.
I'm putting it at like
He's the
8.2.
type of guy that if you run, he's getting you the ball. And again, I'm not sold on this guy. I'm just telling you, I think he's.
So Mike can base it off of that Summer League night. I'll base it off of when we all watched Fox versus Lonzo Ball in the living room back in March, where Fox put 38 and 10 on Lonzo Ball while he had 12.
Defense is not his forte.
I really think that everyone is really overstating the validity of this game. People have really forgot that for the other parts of the tournament, Fox was really not present at all in terms of scoring. So, I mean, he obviously was dynamite in that game, and I think he's a
How
phenomenal
about
player.
Dennis Smith? We were so high on him. I mean, there's another
Well, he's
guy
a guy I almost picked just because the ball's going to be in his hands, and he's going to get as much playing time as anybody on the list.
So my top 5 for voting is 5th, I have Jason Tatum, just because I think if he got more minutes, he would be the clear player to be it, but he's not going to get enough minutes to be the award winner. 4th, I have Lonzo. I think he's obviously in the running. 3rd, I have Dennis Smith. He's incredibly explosive.
Yeah.
In that, I don't know if you guys watched that game last night of the Lakers versus the Mavericks, but Dennis Smith lost his mind. He was phenomenal. He was dunking on people. He was flying through the air. He leaps from one step in from the free throw line, and then his ability to contort his body and move his hand with the ball around defenders is just phenomenal. I think he's spectacular.
Don't forget Fultz. I mean, Fultz is a player.
Yeah, I got Fultz probably like
And
6
he's
or
going
7.
he's going to get playing time too. Although I haven't figured out how the heck they're going to put Simmons at the point and put him off the ball. That's so strange. I don't know how that's going to do.
My number 2, second place finisher for Rookie of the Year is Ben Simmons, and I think that if I was to put more like education and more of my knowledge into it, I would pick Ben Simmons over Malik Monk. But I just have such a affection and love for Malik Monk's game and the way he plays that I really think he's going to be awesome.
I don't like
think
That would be shocking. It would be shocking.
Yes,
if
it would
I
be
don't
very
know what
shocking.
the
I agree.
Vegas odds are of Malik Monk.
Yes, he's not in the top 5 for Vegas odds.
Right. And Kemba's my guy. He's a UConn guy. He's not a pass-first point guard.
No.
And they don't necessarily have a low-post guy that he's going to get a ton of open looks because they're going to be double-teaming Frank Kaminsky. So, I mean.
Dwight Howard.
Right. Oh, that's true. I forgot about that.
I like Dwight. I like his ability to run the
same
point.
thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
I like his
He's
ability
not
to run
commanding
the
double
point
teams.
on the second unit. I think he's going to be doing a lot. He said in his one of his interviews, he was discussing with Clifford, or discussing how he was talking with Clifford about how he was going to be taking the brunt of the backup point guard role. And I think that's something that he can really do, is like that Lou Williams type of scorer that's able to come off screens and be a scorer first. I think he's going to be like phenomenal. I don't know.
I'm with you. I think what you're underrating about Fox is his quickness and his defensive impact is going to be big.
He's the fastest player
It's
in
going
the
to be
draft.
big, and he's going to have the ball in his hands just like Smith is in Dallas.
I think he actually
Really
underwhelmed me.
interesting. Look at all the guys we're covering here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this draft is incredible. We could legitimately.
I don't know. I don't know whether I'm saying it's that incredible. I think they've all got opportunities. I don't know how they pan out in the long run. I'm not seeing all-stars.
I'm just telling you, I wouldn't be surprised if 6 years from now, 8 of these players in the drafted in the lottery is like, we aren't even talking about Bam Adebayo was phenomenal.
I don't think he was phenomenal.
I
thought
think
he
he
was.
was. He's aggressive. He's big.
Yeah,
He's a
I don't
muscle
think he's
hamster.
big enough.
He's very surprising on the offensive end. He has low post moves. He's actually like
He's got
like
a lot to
competent
learn
on there. He does.
offensively.
All right.
Let's keep
yeah.
on
Let's go,
schedule
let's
here.
go.
Let's
Yeah.
keep on schedule.
I like talking about rookies. I got a lot to
It's
say about
Seamus's
rookies.
forte. Every rookie class that's ever come out in the last 10 years has been the greatest ever, according
That's
to
not.
Seamus.
I don't say that any time. I knew last year rookie class was weak.
Well, that's what this is all about.
Yeah,
We're
I
just
agree.
Far ahead.
Okay,
you know?
so most improved player, Giannis won kind of in like not a landslide. Jokic was in the debate. Usually, the award last year was actually pretty surprising because it went to a more high profile of a player.
Yeah.
Usually, it comes up to a player that was a no-name that became kind of like right on the cusp of being like, oh, you should pay attention to this guy. I think it's going to go back.
Who was it
down
last
to
year?
Giannis.
Okay.
So it was like literally a top 7 player in the league.
Giannis was it last year? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Giannis was the most improved player. So
Okay.
I have a couple players that I think that are going to be in the running. I think Justice Winslow, now that he's coming back off of injury, I think he's an interesting player to pay attention to, especially with his defensive grit on that Miami team. They need that. I think Julius Randle is a player to pay attention to. On the Lakers, I think his ability to play in transition with Lonzo is just going to really jump off the charts. I think he's going to be phenomenal. But my pick for most improved player is Miles Turner. I really think that his development and his forcing of having to become the face of this Pacers franchise is really just going to make him to be able to develop into a scorer, but also a phenomenal defensive player. We talk about all these unicorns that we have in this league with Kristaps Porzingis and Jokic and Karl Towns and stuff, but all three of those, besides Porzingis a little bit, are offensive first players. Something that really amazes me about Miles Turner is he was built on the defensive end, and I really trust his ability to be able to keep that ability as a defensive anchor while developing impressive offensive skills. I think he's a
poor team. You got to feel bad for them. And Miles Turner, at least he's going to get. My guys, I think two of the Celtics are going to step up. I think you're going to see Marcus Smart really step up, and I think you're going to see Terry Rozier step up. But they're probably not going to get minutes. My guy that I think it's Rodney Hood. I think from Utah, I think that team, again, is going to have a difficult time without Hayward. I don't think they're built to make the playoffs anyway, but they need a scorer. Rodney Hood is kind of poised to step into that role. I think you're going to see something good from him this year.
That wouldn't surprise me. He seems like a type of player that could handle an uptick and just like the load that they really need to depend him on.
And then another one I got is, and we've talked about him before, and I don't know how many minutes he's going to. Is that Henry Ellison? He continues to impress me.
I like him, but I don't think that he's going to enough.
Right, he's not going to get enough minutes. He's not going to do enough. So I'll go with Rodney Hood.
I think Hood fits the profile because it's a guy who's going to move up from 25 minutes a game to maybe 35 minutes a game. I think Turner it's going to be tough for him to win it because he was 18-8 with 3 blocks last year.
Yeah, but he was such an under the radar player in terms of that. I'm saying he's going to elevate to all-star level. If all-star comes up, he's on the all-star.
For him to get most improved though, he would have to go from 18-8 to a top 7 guy.
Do they have to pick a player?
23-9? Why can't he do that? Why can't he get 23-9?
So I put a few guys down. One of them is the kid from Kentucky on Sacramento, Skal Labissiere.
Skal was my 4th pick.
So he didn't play. He had 50 or 60 DNPs.
Right.
The first 3 quarters of the season, and he ended up with a really strong finish.
Yeah.
So just on that, he had a 35-point game.
And you could also look at him and say how much he's improved since college.
Yeah.
Sure.
He was
college. He was awful in college.
Right.
So I had him. I had Marcus Chris from Phoenix on the list.
Okay.
I had Dante Exum on the list, even though he looks okay in summer league.
I thought he looked great.
But they got Rubio now, so I don't know if he's going to get the minutes. But those were the 3 guys that kind of.
This award does seem it's very contingent on how much playing time you get, more so than the Rookie of the Year award, because it's so obvious that if you get the amount of time to really display how much you've improved, it's going to be more noticeable. You know what I mean?
One guy that doesn't qualify, but I put on the list. Do you know about the Clipper point guard from
Teodosic?
Yeah, Milos.
Okay, so that's something interesting to think about. Why wouldn't he qualify? I know
Most improved player. He's 30 years old.
It's a rookie. You could say, what can you not vote a rookie? I know they've only played 1 year. You could be like, this guy came out of nowhere.
He looks good, but he's a crapshoot, and it's hard to tell. You can't tell what kind of defense he's playing. That's what's always tough on these guys.
Well, I think what's interesting. So he's on Beverly's team.
He's none of those things.
They said when Beverly would check into the hotel, he would use his hotel name as Milos after this guy, and now they're on the same team.
Yeah, they were friends.
And they said he could be the best. According to Beverly, Milos could be the best passer in the league next year. So. That's a guy.
That reminds me. How about the guy on Washington that changed his name in the middle of the season? The guy. It was from Miami, University of Miami. He changed his name to Mac from his first. And Wall was talking about him. There's already a guy Sheldon Mack, but this guy was Sheldon McClellan. And he changed his name to Sheldon Mack. Wall was talking about him. It was really weird.
I have no knowledge of that at all.
Well,
I have no clue what you're talking
he's actually pretty good. Wall's kind of high on him, but he said all of a sudden, he said I'm reporting to a game, and the guy tells me, no, I changed my name. My name is now.
That sounds like
and there's already a Sheldon Mack in the league.
That's weird.
Well, that sounds like a prime target for your blog to put something up on.
True. So who is your pick officially?
I'm going Skal.
You're going Labissiere. Okay, I like it.
Yeah,
I like that too.
I hope we can talk about someone a little more high profile on this one. We're talking about the least known people in the league right now.
You can just say that's MVP.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to talk MVP. So this year it was one of the most insane MVP races ever. We had basically triple doubles won you it with Russell Westbrook just blowing it off with his ability.
I hate triple doubles.
I think they're very impressive. So next year, both the players that were in contention are going to fall off a little bit. They're still probably going to be MVP candidates, but because of the addition of Chris Paul to James Harden's Rockets and because of the addition of Paul George to Russell Westbrook's Thunder, I think both of those players are going to fall out of the top 5. My top 5 is 5, I really think that it's probably going to be either Kevin Durant or Steph Curry, whoever performs better. 4, I have, I think Gordon Hayward is really going to be a phenomenal player. I think we're going to be the number 1 seed, and I think that he's going to be a big aspect of that, so I think he's going to jump up there.
Gordon Hayward in the top 5 for MVP?
Top 5 for MVP. I think he's up there. And then I got Giannis 3rd, LeBron 2nd, and Kawhi winning the award. I think Kawhi Leonard is going to be the MVP of the
I think what continues to be
next year.
crazy that somebody will list 8 players
Yep.
and won't say LeBron James. I know it happens
two.
all the
Yeah,
time,
two.
and he's not supposed to win. You said he was number 2?
2, yeah.
Okay, well, I don't. To me, he wins by default.
He should
he's
win
the
every
best
year. I
player.
agree, he
And
should
I know
win
it's
every
not
year.
going to happen, but I got 2 guys. I continually looking at the Los Angeles Clippers, and I'm looking at Blake Griffin, and I'm also looking at the Celtics, and I'm looking at Isaiah Thomas. And I think this is the Celtics window right now. I think we're going to see it this year. I think Thomas is playing. He's waiting for that Brinks truck to back up, and he's coming in.
I don't know if it is.
I don't know. I don't know if it is. That's another topic. I'd like to talk about that. Where Danny Ainge might go with that. But I think Isaiah. He got votes last year. He's got the profile. Everybody's looking at it. The Celtics get that success rate. I think he rises above Hayward in that conversation. And I think it would be a beautiful thing to have happen. You know, Isaiah averages 27 a game, leads the team to the
I mean, he was 5th in
final.
voting last year.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I
what
wouldn't
I'm
be
saying.
surprised if he
And-
was in the
and
top
I'm
5.
not going to rule out Blake Griffin. I think Paul was a cancer on that night. That's probably a bad word, but he was at least the flu on that team.
Yeah.
And now that he's gone, I think Blake Griffin, if he can not be injured, and some of his injuries aren't career-ending at all.
No, he has lots of like ticky-tacky injuries.
You know, he's one of 5 players in NBA history that averaged 20 points a game, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists. There's only 4 other guys in the history
really
of
good.
the NBA that have
He's
done
really
that.
good.
And we're talking Larry Bird, Wilt Chamberlain, Billy Cunningham, and only one other guy.
Something that actually makes me a little bit nervous about that is because I was really excited when Chris Paul left, similar to your excitement about it, is because of his ability to really be able to slide into that point forward role. So I was really like, he's actually going to get a chance to display his abilities that we haven't been able to see yet because of Chris Paul being there on the team. But that completely got washed away when they brought in this Teodosic because he's a ball-dominant passer.
Yeah,
so
but,
it really just ruins
I
that
don't
role.
mind Austin Rivers and I don't mind Beverly. And,
No, I think those are good players.
So, I think that can be put together without Theodosic. And
So is your pick Blake Griffin? Is Blake Griffin your pick for MVP next year?
No, I'm going with Isaiah.
Okay, Isaiah Thomas is Mike's
Right.
pick for MVP.
You guys are going with shock factor right now.
I'm not. I picked Kawhi
get it.
Leonard. That's
Well,
a very
Time of
viable
year,
candidate.
you know, Matt,
I get
it's
it.
July and
I
we're
get it.
picking the MVP.
Well,
just
the dynamic of the league with Durant and Curry on the same team, it almost cancels those guys out.
Right.
And LeBron's been around for so long that he's kind of not in the hunt anymore, so it really opens it up to a big field.
Yep.
So
That's what we're doing.
Okay, well, I'm going to pivot, and you're saying that LeBron, he's by default the best.
He's the best player in the
He's
league.
the
best
most
player in the
valuable player.
Okay,
He is.
so that brings me to the number 1 story of the league from today until the last day of the season. It's the same thing when you've got a president in his last year of his presidency. We call him a lame duck presidency.
Okay, who's the lame duck?
Well, we got a lame duck superstar in Cleveland, and we got lame duck LeBron coming this season. And it's happened 2 times before. The first time in Cleveland, they loaded up on veteran guys, and they maxed out their payroll. They got as good as they could until they weren't good enough anymore. And it's a weird dynamic with the team. LeBron shut it down in the playoffs against the Celtics.
True.
The same thing happened as last year in Miami. They load up on all these veteran guys. They bring Ray Allen in, and the team does not good enough anymore, and it doesn't end well for LeBron. And this is his last season in Cleveland. It's already starting. You're already hearing whispers of Kyrie talking about I might be trying to move to Chicago. Kevin Love has been named in every trade rumor. Kevin Love, they might offer Kevin Love for the wheel on my wheelhouse.
That's
I
true.
mean that's how ridiculous.
I wouldn't
this
take
gets.
it. Trade denied.
If I was Kevin Love and I was walking out of a room right now from a team meeting, I would be checking my back to see if there's a kick me sign on my back. I mean, he's being left out of Instagram photos, handshakes.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's done always. He's always
the
been an
outside
outcast on that team.
I know he's the outsider on the team, but the team dynamics are changing because LeBron, they're not good enough, and they can't add to it. They're maxed out on their payroll. They've signed LeBron's buddies, Thompson and JR. They have no room to improve the team. They're not good as Golden State. It's going to be a weird scene in Cleveland.
So why does that mean? Why does all that equal LeBron being the
Isaiah's a
MVP?
bad pick. Yeah.
Why does that mean LeBron's the MVP?
It means that he's not going to be the MVP.
Right.
It means that he can't. It means that he can't get his team together. He's already polarizing the team because they see what's coming. They can already see what's coming, and it's not going to end well in Cleveland.
You don't think LeBron's going to go for it again this year?
He's going for it every year. He's
Yeah,
gonna
but
try
they're
to-
not good.
That's what I think,
They're
too.
not
right?
good enough.
Okay, who's your pick?
My pick, well, Durant.
You just said they neutralize one another. You're contradicting yourself.
I go with
No,
the best player.
you gotta-
He's
yeah.
not the best player. LeBron's the best player. Spin the
Well,
wheel.
agree to disagree.
I can't see LeBron making it in LA. That's a
I
tough
don't think that's
one.
what's happening.
I
Again,
don't like that one either.
Are we going again?
yeah, and then we'll choose what we want to talk about if we get another repeat. Who do you want to talk about? No, spin it again.
Spin it one more time?
Yeah,
Well, we
we'll
do
see
have a
what-
very
Don't mess up.
entertaining segment coming up if
Yeah.
we want to move to
Let's
that.
just go to the.
What's the nearest one? What's this guy?
Finals. No, Eastern Conference versus Eastern Conference. We'll combine the two of them.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
okay.
so this is just predicting basically who you think is going to be there at the end of the year. So I have the Western Conference Finals. I have the Spurs being the 3 seed, passing past Houston and playing the Warriors. The Warriors are going to beat the Spurs in 6 games. And then in the Eastern Conference, I have the Celtics taking the Cavs in 7 games.
Okay.
And then in the finals, I have the Celtics losing into the Warriors in 6 games.
This might be the first NBA Finals prediction for the 27-18 season
It could be.
in the country.
I hate predicting that because it's just you don't want to see that again. It's like so. But on the Eastern Conference, I call them my fun teams. There's so many there's fun teams in there. I like the Bucks. I like what's happening. I like Washington to an extent. Philadelphia's going to be fun. I know they're not going to get to the top, whatever it is. And I don't like in that Western Conference. I don't like the George combination with Westbrook, and I don't like the Paul combination with
Yeah,
Harden.
I agree.
I don't think either one of them are going to pan out. So as you're looking at that West Conference saying how strong they are, the one that I continually am saying, I think the Clippers are going to rise. And I think it's going to be the Clippers and Golden State in the finals on that side, and then it's going to be the Celtics and LeBron on this side with the Celtics. And I'm all in on the Celtics because I think this is their window. I think it's this year or not because I'm not very sure that Danny Ainge is going to bring Isaiah back. So I think we got to go for it now. I'm ready to be all in. That's the team I'm going to watch play 100 times,
Right.
every game, every possession.
Yeah.
The other teams I'm going to see when they're playing the Celtics, that's it. So I'm all in on them.
Yeah.
They're going to play Golden State in the finals, and I don't know. Let's go.
I have them losing in 6.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
What do you got?
That Clippers pick is
Yeah.
insane.
He
to
loves
me.
the Clippers
That's
for no
insane.
reason.
I mean, Blake
It's
Griffin.
not.
They might not make the playoffs. They might not make the playoffs.
I-
They might not. They might not.
Well, I'm sorry. I mean,
not.
I see an opening for them that side. But why the Spurs? I mean, the Spurs. I mean, they get. How old do you want Tony Parker and Ginobili to get?
How irrelevant are those
Come on.
players? How irrelevant are those players?
Well, the other players have not risen to, other than Popovich, they haven't risen to the level that's going to compete.
They have the
for a
second best player in the league
championship.
and the best coach in the league. Like they're
Kawhi,
fine.
yes, obviously, and they got the best coach, but they got a continual problem that I talk about with Aldridge. Aldridge is not plugged into that team.
People overstate the problems with the
I don't
Spurs
think
every
so.
year. They always say, "Oh, this is the year that they're really going to drown out," and then in April we're seeing a 60-win team.
Well,
we don't need to worry about the Spurs.
Well, also, there's not like a bunch of teams that are nipping at their heels. So you're not gonna,
I'll give you that. But that's why I see an opening for the Clippers.
Well,
What do you got?
so my Western Conference final, it's Golden State in 4 games, no matter who they play, but average by 25-point win. Okay.
Wow.
And then
Okay.
we got and the East. It's going to be. Cleveland's obviously going to be there against Boston. Maybe Toronto sneaks in, but that's not exciting to anybody.
I agree with you a lot with that, Matt. I think one thing that's kind of crazy is that if anything, Golden State has improved.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, how can
They
that
haven't-
level
what
with
have
all
they-
the free
well, what
agents
have they
out there?
lost? What have they
They
lost?
haven't lost
Anything?
anything. They signed them all. They brought in a couple shooters, whether it's Nick Young or is it Caspi, the other guy that they brought in?
Yeah.
They both contribute. They're actually a better team. But
They're going to be there.
A lot
They're
of
gonna be there.
pressure on them to
Yeah.
continue
They're going to
what
be
they
there.
got going.
All right, so we're moving on to the next segment. Matt, if you could turn that wheel around.
happening?
Oh, wow.
What are we doing?
We're doing another segment of hats. With the hats, it's not a guessing game this time. We got 4
Oh.
teams. We got a hat segment, but instead of a guessing game, it's going to be a king of the court situation. So we have a hoop over here. What you want to do is there's going to be 2 people debating which team of these 4, so you get 1 team, which team is going to be the best seed. So whether you think the Jazz is going to be the best seed, Sixers are going to be the best seed, Grizzlies are going to be the best seed, or the Pacers are going to be the
top
best
seed.
seed. Which team is going to be the best seed? And the way you determine who is going to be debating against the other person is you are going to shoot a basketball. I need to find them, a basketball into the hoop. So the first one to make it, you grab a hat. You grab the hat you want
Whatever.
to argue for. Whatever
Yeah.
hat you want. And as
Okay.
soon as you make it, you grab a hat. The first 2 people to make it and grab a hat are arguing. You got it?
Yeah.
You ready?
So it's which team is going to make the playoffs?
Give me the 4 teams one more time.
Pacers, the Hickory throwback.
Okay.
Vancouver Grizzlies throwback for Grizzlies. 76ers and
Okay.
Utah Jazz.
Okay.
Okay. Do we all shoot at once?
Yeah, you're good. It's the free-for-all. Matt has an advantage because the wheel's over there.
Okay. I'm going with Wilt.
Are you ready?
I'm going with Wilt.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh!
Block! No,
And
don't!
oh, damn
Piece
it.
of paper. Matt's got to choose a hat. Matt wasn't
Okay. I'm in.
innovative.
Okay. I got an easy one.
You weren't prepared. What happened? You don't get that hat. You're the judge. So you're out.
boy, I'm out.
You're out. So you're
So-
the judge. So we each
okay.
get 1 minute to debate why we think. I think the Sixers are going to have a better seed next year than the Grizzlies. You picked the team that just lost one of its motivational leaders in Zach Randolph.
Okay, what is
in
it?
a tough
Was he,
West.
You mean
was
the
he the ninth best
Jailblazer?
player?
Yeah.
Was he the ninth best player last year? I think they'll be okay.
So in the games where Joel Embiid played more than 25 minutes, they had an above 500 record in the second best ranked defense in the league. I really think that they're going to be a phenomenal team. They have Ben Simmons finally going to be able to healthy. My guy Ben right here. He's
Are
gonna
we
be
talking
playing the
about their
game.
seed?
Yes.
Like their
So
seed in their conference?
Yes, I have the Sixers as the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference, and I do not think that the Grizzlies will come close to the 6th seed in the Western Conference.
Okay, well, if you've got Mike Conley and Marc Gasol on the same team, you've got a good team.
Yep.
The average age of the starting lineup of the Philly 76ers is going to be like 17 years old. This never happened before. Minnesota's tried it. We thought everyone last year thought Minnesota was going to have a good season and compete for the playoffs. They weren't even close, and they didn't. And Minnesota was a year ahead of where Philly is because they had Towns and they had Wiggins in their second and third years. This year, Philly, they're going to be top
made
five
up
in
my
the
What do you
West.
got? What do you got? You're a judge. What do you got?
It's definitely Memphis.
Okay,
and
you're
I-
in there. I'm the judge. We don't have much time left.
Okay.
You're arguing for the Pacers. You're arguing for the Jazz. Who's got a better seed?
Oh.
Who's got a better seed? Go. Pacers.
The Pacers in the playoffs?
Yeah, you got the hat.
Oh my God! What have they got?
Well, they don't have to be the playoffs. They just have the better seed than the Jazz.
than the Jazz.
Yeah.
I don't know how they could do that.
can
I
go
mean,
for- you can go
Miles
first.
Turner,
Yes.
Top
me up, I'm the judge.
Sabonis could be the most improved player. That's possible. All right, so Sabonis comes on. He plays big. Oladipo's been waiting to happen.
Yep.
And Miles Turner is an all-star.
Okay.
And we go to the playoffs.
Okay, what do you got for me, Jazz?
Throw my hat off. I agree with Indiana. Yep. If the East is awful.
Did you have the Pacers as your 7th seed? No, that's
Last year they were the 7th seed with 42 wins.
Yeah.
They can't. I mean, they're not going to be that far off. I mean, Turner's
lost
going
Paul
to
George.
step it up. That return wasn't as bad as people think. It's actually the best thing that could happen in Indiana because George was leaving anyway, and they got two decent players.
He
for
was
him.
leaving anyway.
I mean, even if they take, I mean, they're not going worse than 9th or 10th. Utah, they could sink like a stone. The West is so good.
I think they're both
sinking
going to
like
be
a stone.
around 9 or 10. That's why I think they are. So that's why I picked these 4 hats because
enough.
I think they're all going to be like in the 6
Okay.
to 10 range. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right, that's all the time we have today. We had a new segment. I think it went well. Maybe some more time for it in the future. It was a little rushed, but overall it went really well. Guys, thanks for joining me again. I'm sure you'll be back very soon. That's it for the Wheelhouse.
London
Have a
Parenti's
good
got
night.
injured.
No, Logan, get him out. He's bad. London's bad. Get
He's
him out.
making the team.
He's not making any team. I bet you $1 right now. $1.
Dollar.
$1.